The following is a special presentation of Sunshine Network.
Greetings and welcome to a brand new series on Sunshine Network, Under the Lights. It's your backstage all-access pass to the personalities and programs that make up the fabric of sports in the state of Florida. I'm Whit Watson. We start with a true coaching legend, Howard Schnellenberger. 20 years ago, Coach Schnellenberger brought the University of Miami football program back from the brink of extinction. And 20 years later, he's still in the business of resurrection, this time building a football program from scratch at Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton. Clearly, Coach Schnellenberger has a vision, one that's shared by members of the FAU football family. Tonight, Coach Howard Schnellenberger, Under the Lights.
I found over the years that I've been in football that the one thing the head coach has to do is have vision. He has to have a dream. He has to believe it down to the core of his shoes. But not just have it, you have to enunciate it. And you have to shout it from the mountaintops. And you got to write it, have it written in the paper. That means walking out on a limb. And believe me, as a wise man said, the fruit is on the end of the branches.
I'm going this weekend on a visit to FAU. Howard Schnellenberger is the coach. I can just figure out how to pronounce it. And you know, there's my grandfather or guys around the neighborhood, older guys at the barbershop. They're like, oh, he has a national championship at UM, and that just starts up all the different conversations.
I never really heard much about FAU. I remember them sending me a card, you know, information card, height, weight, and all that. It was kind of like FAU. Never really heard of them before.
The name Schnellenberger came up, and I took it back to my head coach, my high school head coach. He was like, oh, Schnellenberger, yeah. And he kind of gave me a little rundown on the history because I didn't even know.
Everybody else seemed to know who he was. Like all my uncles and my aunts, everybody knew who he was. He's a little before my time.
When he entered the trailer, everybody gets quiet, even the coaches. And I'm like, they are like, you know, the president's here or something. But that's what it is. I mean, his attitude and what he expects out of his players and the people under him forces people to give him that kind of respect.
Congratulations to Florida Atlantic. They move on to the semifinals, and Howard Schnellenberger gets a little Gatorade.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that this has been a dramatic rise to prominence in the world of football at the NCAA level for Florida Atlantic University football. It's hard to believe that it was a virtual handful of years ago that there was no team at FAU. Of course, FAU was wise enough to bring in a great coach and a great program builder in Howard Schnellenberger.
Howard is the primo football coach in the country. There are many good football coaches in this land, in the pros or in college, but Howard Schnellenberger is a developer of programs.
First of all, he's the offensive coordinator of Miami Dolphins. They win the World Championship Super Bowl. He's the offensive coordinator. They go 17-0. There's no team that's ever done that before. Goes to Miami. He's there at Miami. The first thing they tell him, we're going to close football if you don't do something in 5 years. Wins a national championship. So, in my eyes, you know, you're playing for a living legend.
Howard is the first of our Miami, Florida, Florida State. Miami is the first one of those three to win a national championship. Howard did it. When Howard was talking about his team going to win a national championship, we've got a chance. This, I was thinking, I don't know if you can do it down here right now, Howard. You know, and then he went ahead and won a national championship. I think Howard was the guy that kind of showed everybody. He's like Columbus. He showed everybody the world's round.
Coach Schnellenberger's legacy, I guess, has been taking programs that were down in the dumps and building them up. This is kind of a unique situation because there was nothing here, but I think that's the kind of person you look to, is somebody that's built up programs that weren't doing so well and raised their stature.
His success at the University of Miami, his success at Louisville, which tagged onto that, but helped build his reputation down here, even his time with the Dolphins, you know, that's a huge plus for us. Everybody knows who he is, and his presence, it gives you instant credibility in terms of the program itself, and it attracts the recruits immediately.
Howard being here is the magnet that brings people in quicker. Howard's been who he is has opened doors. He's the most unusual coach I've been around in these 40-some years, I guess, in the business. Most coaches are truly admired, or the good ones are truly admired by their players for their relationship with the players themselves. Rarely is a coach as nearly dynamic as he is in the community, as well as having a relationship with the players. And people just love hearing him talk. He's got the great baritone voice and all that goes with it. So he will be enshrined, I think, in life and death forever.
Can you imagine, can you just imagine if we can do here what we did at the University of Miami and do it within my lifetime, what that will mean to this community? This is the state of Florida, where football is revered. There are more political important decisions made in Gainesville on a Saturday afternoon than there's ever been made in Tallahassee. And you'll be surprised how coaches and players and fans, mothers and fathers, high school coaches that have allowed their kids to come here, how they get energized and get enthusiastic about the prospects. And they, by God, will make it happen.
Coach Snellenberger really has done for Boca and the surrounding area kind of what Addison Meisner did for the housing industry. He's fabulous. We're just absolutely thrilled that he's here as a city council person as well as a resident of this community. We could not have asked for anything more.
Well, I'm privileged to, at this age in my life, to have been given the wonderful opportunity to come and be the organizer, the leader of this group of guys that disdained other greater opportunities, both from a financial standpoint for my coaches and from a admiration standpoint for the players. Disdained those things and bought in and moved into this direction to do something very meaningful with their life, not to go off and be a cog in the ongoing machinery of Notre Dame or Penn State, but to develop their own machinery here and be the causal effect of the tradition that'll be generated by what they've accomplished.
It was really a no-brainer when Coach had called and said, here's the opportunity, we're going to do something that nobody's ever done before. You think you want to be a part of it, and of course we did. And again, you know what his reputation is, you know his ability to build a program, and so when he said, hey, you know, we'll have a chance to be as good a team that there is anywhere in the country in 7 years and going from scratch, so that's an opportunity you can't pass up. Now, we didn't know of all the problems that were going to be in between there. You kind of left some of those out, but yeah, it was no doubt. And if you look at our staff, a lot of the guys have been with him before at other places, and so when he called, it really wasn't one of those things, well, you know, I got to think about it. It was, yeah, let's go.
And you get the call and say, hey, you want to try it again? And yeah, why not? You know, probably the last time for both of us, you know. So, you know, we're going to do it. We're going to do what we have to do. We'll get it done. What? There we go. What? Get out of there! Get out of there! Get out of there!
When we got here, there was no facility. You know, matter of fact, the first recruiting class we brought around, you know, we had a sign stuck in the ground that this is where you know, where the training facility was going to be, and here's another stick in the ground with a sign where the football stadium was going to be.
When I came, this Oxley Center was not even built. They just had, the practice fields were together, and we'd look over. They had a little side trailer where they were doing all the construction, and they came in, you meet Coach, and they just show you the floor plans, show you the blueprints. They had a little small square of what the field grass would be like when they get the stadium built. And they really just sold your dream.
Coach Schellenberger has had the vision for FAU, and basically everybody's bought into it. And that's what's made things tick and made things roll here at FAU. And he's made believers out of everybody.
They said we're going to be Division I before you leave. And they said we're going to have a stadium before you leave. And they said you have a chance to come in and start and be a part of it. So every time, 20, 30 years from now, when people go back and look through the books, look at that old picture that we go to different programs now, look at the black and white picture and who is that guy? You're going to be that guy. You know, and not many other programs around the nation at the time that you could say that for, and not many now that you can go back and say, well, I'm that guy. That's not my great granddad, or it's not my great uncle. That was me. I started that. I was a part of it.
This coming year, we're going into our 40th anniversary of the beginning of Florida Atlantic. This is the first year of our transition to Division I Sun Belt Conference. And there will be, football will play a major role in the schematics of Florida Atlantic University during this 40th anniversary year.
How do you bring together people from such a wide demographic, such a huge geographic area, and make certain that they all catch the spirit? One of the ways you do that is to create an excitement about the university, and one of the things that clearly, as demonstrated, has the ability to create that excitement is NCAA athletics.
We were very fortunate to get into a new conference, the Sun Belt Conference, in the fall, and that was really the most pivotal point, I think, in the growth of this football program. And as we look back over history, I think you will note that that will probably be the most pivotal point, because without getting inside the door of 1A, we could be a great program, have plenty of money, plenty of fan support, etc. But if no one's going to let us get in the door to play with those folks, then we'd be shut out.
You know, Florida is so football crazy that you've got to be a Division I football team to really be on the radar screen, and that's where we are. And we knew we could not wait a long time to get that done. So as fast as we possibly could get it to fall into place, we had to do that. And so we're really excited about it, and we think we've got a chance to get up and compete right away.
It's a big step, but it's a necessary step, and you have to try it. The thing is, FAU has been, since the early days of the program, has always had that 1A step in mind, and has always been moving towards that. Now, it's a rapid ascension this year, and a rapid process of when they finally had to make the decision. But because they've been working on it for so long, it probably isn't going to be as difficult as it is for other schools who have been 1AA for 15, 20 years and have that small college mentality.
And we never had a doubt. Since I showed up, moved my bags into my dorm room, I knew that I would be a part of Division 1A football team before I left. And that happened in 4 years. I never got that red shirt. Just came in, played right away, and it all happened. And it was kind of, weird to see. You always believed it, but you never knew, how the process was going to go, how it really was going to play out. But it played out just like Coach said. We just bought into a system, and I think that was the biggest part, the day when everybody bought in, and there was no, side guys who really was still skeptical or whatever. When everybody bought in, there was no doubt.
1, 2, 3, all right! Florida Atlantic has the same potential as the University of Miami. We should be playing at that level within the next 5 years. We should be competing for the national championship about that time. And with our new stadium coming online in 2007, the Dome Stadium here right on the campus at Florida Atlantic University, it's going to put us in an advantage position against Miami, Florida, Florida State, Nebraska, Notre Dame, all to have a 40,000 seat Dome Stadium on the campus in Boca Raton, Florida, which is the heart of paradise, is going to be almost unfair to the other schools.
It's very important to us to have an on-campus facility. We are lucky in that we started in temporary quarters at Great Pro Player Stadium. Then we have moved, of course, and now our temporary home is at Lockhart Stadium in Broward County. A wonderful facility that really meets the needs of our Fighting Owls football team today and next year. But we are all aware of the fact that ultimately we're destined to have an on-campus stadium.
That'll be the growth from 20,000 to 40,000 will happen overnight with that dome stadium, and just the energy that it builds on the campus and in the surrounding community. So no question that's important.
Well, it's absolutely essential that we get our stadium on the campus, because that's the reason why college football was invented. It was not invented 110 years ago to go play in some municipal stadium well off of campus. It was designed to be a weekend of excitement and pride that happened right in the middle of the campus. Kids, the professors, the alumni, everybody would meet on campus and revisit the spot of their adolescence or their young man and womanhood. Without a stadium here on campus, we don't have a chance. With a dome stadium on this campus, which will set us apart from every other team in America, even Syracuse, that's going to electrify, that's going to energize, that's going to speed things up a great deal.
Well, it's funny that one of the most amazing things is all the people in Boca Raton, which is sometimes look as an affluent community, and maybe some elderly people, were all excited that this was going to turn into a college town, and I don't think that's happened just yet, but it certainly caught the community's imagination.
Well, I think FAU football can become the event town for not only its football program, which people will come to because they're going to win, and we all want to be there with the winners, but the stadium that Coach Snellenberger was referring to and the other opportunities that stadium brings to this community is just going to be worldwide, and it's going to enhance our community more than we've ever been able to believe possible.
Yeah, in the short term, that 15,000 seat requirement is a tremendous challenge, because if we don't hit that our first year in our 2-year transition process, then we have to repeat that first year. So I keep referring to it that it could be Groundhog Day all over again, so to speak, if we can't hit it. So that's why that's got to be our #1 priority, and we've pulled out all stops to try to make sure that happens.
We'll always be judged as an organization on how many people attend the games. Sad, but true. The quality is already here. What's been produced is amazing. The talent level of the players, what Coach has done with them, this is Major League. But you still don't get judged as Major League until you fill the house.
South Florida isn't necessarily they're more an event-conscious group than they are a sports backing a particular group in terms of loyalty to a team or anything like that. You see it in, the Marlins, they can't draw anybody until they go to the playoffs, and then they're sold out. We've got to make our games events too. But, the fact that it is a brand new program doing that is an event.
I disagree with the statement that South Florida is an event city. I've been told that in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, everywhere I've been, Dallas. What happens is when a team ingratiates itself in a community, like they used to do, all baseball did, everybody in the old days knew all the players hung out in the local area, the fans knew them. There's only 3 teams in America that have really kept that going: the Red Sox, the Cubs, and the Green Bay Packers. And if you note their attendance figures, it's full every night. And it's partly because they have big events, but they're there every day, every game, because they know the players, they feel like they're part of the family. And I think that's the secret to not having to depend on an attendance just at events or to create every game an event. The people making an event because they want to be with these kids. They know them, they're like neighbors. And that's what keeps a city from being known as an event city.
Hello, I'm Jared Allen, quarterback of the FAU Fighting Owls.
And I'm Chris Wiskowski, linebacker.
Practice is now underway, and both of us are really excited about our senior season.
We are especially looking forward to our first home game, Saturday, September 25th at Lockhart Stadium.
We look forward to seeing y'all there.
All right, sound good.
One of the things we're trying to do is get all the people that live down here that, you know, they're not Miami fans, or they're not, maybe they're Michigan people, which you have a lot of, or, you know, people from out of state that, yeah, they're Penn State or whatever. Get them to adopt us in the meantime. I can't go to the Notre Dame to watch a game. All right, I'll come watch football here. And that's a group we're trying to get involved with us.
We don't want you to divorce your Gator team or your Canes team or your Joe Paterno Nittany Lion team. We just want you to have a commitment to us. And if you can't get to the games, you can sure watch us on television, listen to us on the radio, follow us in the newspaper, but tell everybody we're your team. South Florida has been our home for a long time, going back to 1970. And South Florida has been very good to the Snellenbergers. We've had great opportunities with the Miami Dolphins, with Don Shula and the wonderful things he did there. And of course, having our own championship at the University of Miami was as pleasant as it gets. And really coming back and being a part of the growth and development of this program may turn out to be the most thrilling and exciting and the best of times. Football, and particularly working for the four men that I worked for prior to becoming a head coach, had a great impact on my life, starting with Paul Bryant at University of Kentucky as a player, Blanton Collier, University of Kentucky as a player, and then to be the coach for first Blanton Collier at Kentucky and then Paul Bryant at Alabama, then go off into the pros with George Allen and John Shula, gave me an opportunity to really study the four, probably if you combine them into one, the greatest coaching, teaching opportunity of any man's ever had in his life. Paul Bear Bryant probably had more personal effect on me, he and Don Shula. And they are both men of iron. They both have a commitment, a belief, and they live with it day by day. And I hope that I can even come close to being as committed, being as solid, to be the leader that they were.
I don't think Howard gives himself enough credit. He is a leader in everything that he does, everything. And he's very confident at all times, whatever he's doing. I think that's one of the reasons why he doesn't play golf, because he's not confident.